Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I typically get the question, what pads do I like for glass skates? Let's check out a Cordura pad from Pulsar, the Paraspeed. So this is going to be a little bit different than the typical mousepad review that I usually do. I want to get the word out there about what are some of my top pads with glass skates. I get that question a whole lot since coming out with the review and video on the Super Glides, as well as the review and video on the Lethal Gaming Gear glass skates. Generally speaking, I think that Cordura pads are something that I do enjoy. I enjoyed the MP511 and I enjoyed the Endgame Gear MPC, and I do enjoy the Paraspeed from Pulsar Gaming Gear with PTFE skates, but generally and typically over time with PTFE skates, that hardness, that toughness of Cordura can become a bit just something that isn't generally fun to use for long durations of time, long periods of time. With glass skates, the surface actually becomes more of a typical cloth feel, especially how thick and how much surface area you have for glass skates. For instance, the Super Glides on the Pulsar mouse make this pad feel as though I'm using a cloth pad. The Lethal Gaming Gear glass skates on the Vaxi Outset make this pad feel like I'm using a typical cloth pad. The Pulsar Super Glides on the Razor Viper Ultimate, because the surface area is not very extensive, you can feel a bit more of that toughness underneath on the mouse, but still the glass skates make it feel more like a typical cloth pad instead of that tough, hard Cordura surface. And I generally like that about the glass skates on the Cordura surfaces, because with Cordura, you gain a lot of speed and individual movement that you don't typically get with your general cloth pad. I do like polyester surfaces as well, like the Venus, the Mercury, as well as the Woogie 2 with glass skates. I'm playing my best, right now at least, with glass skates on the Cordura surface because of how much extra movement and manual control you are getting on your own without getting any extra tug on the pad. You're not getting any extra tug from or change in variation in speed, given how worn your PTFE skates are. So I think the combo is one of my best for Apex Legends right now. I was able to get in quite a bit of time for ranked games and public games in the past week and a half or so. So I do want to show you guys some gameplay with how I personally play on the Pulsar Super Glides and the Cordura Surface by Pulsar, the Paraspeed XL. Let's check it out. Overall, the quality of the pad is good. It definitely seems like it is durable. The stitched edges are very well done, and the Cordura logo is in the bottom right and stays out of your way. Like most Cordura pads, the only issue initially is getting the pad to lay flat on your desk, but with a little bit of work, it's no issue at all. As far as Cordura pads go, this is one of my favorite ones. I do like the MP511, I liked the Endgame Gear pad, and I also like the Trigun. This is a very, very smooth surface compared to a few of the Cordura pads. The MP511 is a little bit more raised, a little bit more abrasive. It is smoother than something like, even though it's not a Cordura pad, but the Razer Strider, this is smoother than that and has a lot of speed. It's certainly a speedier pad than most balance pads or control pads. With glass skates, however, I do maintain quite a lot of control on this particular surface, and I think that is just one of the unique things about going to glass skates. When you are making those strides on this pad, you don't feel a lot of that typical Cordura, and you can kind of hear it when you're swiping your hand across that pad. You don't feel that, you don't really hear it as well, and it feels good. Even PTFE skates feel good on the pad, but you feel more of that toughness, you feel more of that hardness. And that's one of the downfalls of Cordura. Typically, Cordura pads are hard, so when you're resting your hand on the pad, it's not as comfortable as a cloth pad that has a little bit of cushioning, or, you know, a 4mm cloth pad, a 6mm cloth pad, or something like an artisan pad that is got those different levels of foam, that different level of cushioning. But as far as the gameplay goes, again, this pad for me right now is one of my top choices for glass skates, and I think it performs on another level. So definitely something to test, something to try with glass skates. We're certainly in uncharted waters, and I just want to throw out there that it might be worth your time testing, if you did get a pair of glass skates, testing different types of surfaces to see what works for you. Right now, I am liking the Lethal Gaming Gear Venus, other polyester pads, the Padsmith pad, and I am really, really enjoying Cordura surfaces, in particular because of its smoothness, the Paraspeed from Pulsar Gaming Gear. I do think that it is something that in combination with glass skates is very, very consistent, and I hope you guys were able to kind of see that in my Apex gameplay, my crosshair placement, etc. I do think that it is really something that needed to get out there because we are kind of venturing into new territory with glass skates and kind of testing the waters with what works, what doesn't work. And in particular, I really do think that Cordura surfaces feel very, very nice on the new glass skates that are coming to market. I hope that helped, guys. If it did, please leave a subscription to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next review. Peace, and Happy New Year.